Greetings, fellow travelers and storytellers. Welcome to the Archival Anthologies podcast, where I, MS Arthadian, dive into the ever-expanding universe I'm developing and the deeper meaning behind it all. It's been a few months since I've given an announcement. Apologies for the long wait, but life has thrown me for a loop recently. Since the last announcement I gave, the Chosen Creation study is up with nearly everything you need to make a Chosen. A few things are still needing updates, and I'll go into those more in this announcement. I've also been running a lot more Reborn in Power sessions in the background for when Season 4 arrives. In fact, Season 4 will consist solely of Reborn in Power series, while it coincides with the official livestream campaign I will be running. Before the campaign starts, though, by the end of Season 3, I will be taking a longer hiatus than I have in the past to fix up Chosen Creation, write out an intro beginner module for Reborn in Power, and prepare my new Chosen for the new age. Now, let's talk about some personal stuff. First off, I'd like to preface this by explaining what's been going on with me behind the scenes. 2022 has been a hell of a year for me. I'm sure you've noticed the silence regarding charactermancy. Some drama happened that caused me to change course in regards to the bonus series as well as the overall story and planning for the next campaign. It caused me to fall behind a little bit, but I've worked my ass off to make sure that at least one episode of the official podcast is being released each week. Second, I've got to be honest, I've burnt myself out a bit in regards to this podcast and working on Chosen Creation, as well as running 4 separate Reborn in Power series in the background. I've got a lot of content brewing, but due to it, I will be taking a few months off of everything to help myself unwind. This burnout has also made me a bit depressed, mainly because this is my passion and I hate falling behind on it because it makes me feel unproductive. Plus, I'm extremely self-critical, sometimes to a fault. But as the story moves forward, I must move forward with it. So, I just want to apologize if some of the stories seem lackluster or just don't feel the same as when I'm in my best creative flow. Now, in regards to the Chosen Creation study, right now I've kept Chosen Creation in beta because of my burnout. I haven't been active as I'd like to be on updating it, but there are plans in the works to help new players create their Chosen in a much more streamlined fashion. I must say, Reborn in Power can be learned by new players to tabletop RPGs, but is difficult to understand if not guided correctly. I'm going to be updating specifically the origin paths since a lot of choices come from there. First thing will be changing the starting gear to be easier than having to switch between shopping and origins constantly. This is where I will implement factions, where all you have to choose is 1 out of 4 factions, and then the faction will give you your starting gear. It will also help with establishing a backstory, since it is your origin path. Second thing I will be changing will be the vocation benefits. This one will take some time, though, mainly because it requires some configuring with all the skills, feats, and abilities. And lastly, I still have to finish the exploring the core section regarding combat phase and just the exploration as well. Thank you for your patience, and by the time Season 3 is complete, I hope you've already joined Chosen Creation, as I will continue to improve it for you. Oh, and lastly, along with everything else, the months of March and April had me on a little podcast tour. I was featured on the Radio Retro Future, the Star Chamber Show, and the Alchemy Lab. I'll link the shows in the description so you can find them and support the other creators in my little network. And one last thing. I'm working on a collaborative feature with my next guest that will be on. You've actually heard his stories during the March of the Core, Winston Malone. He has a Substack that features speculative fiction writers of all kinds. And I figured we could do a cross-promotion event kind of thing. Therefore, if you are interested in the continuation of Kyver's story in written format, be sure to go follow the Story Letter Substack, as I will be featuring it there. And once it's complete, it could become the first published novella for Arthadian Anthologies. All links will be found in the in the description of this announcement. And thank you all again for your continued support. If you are just now joining the anthology, please check out the Arthadiananthologies.com for more content that expands this new expanding universe. You can also support the creation of this podcast by donating through the link found in the description of this episode. And until next time, travelers, I hope you are safe, are staying safe. And if death comes to you, may you be reborn in power. Thank you.